water under the bridge. And I hope afterwards we can all work together towards the same goal, but I sure hope there's some people in this room that have learned by this. I think this whole issue could have been handled differently. I know that from where I'm coming at. I'm working with 20 or 30 employees and a whole lot of people in my businesses and stuff. You got to keep everybody informed, on board, keeping them apprised at every step in the situation. I think a lot of this could have been avoided if we had done that, keeping everybody informed, especially with all the opportunities and things that were changing and coming up with regards to these courtroom documents. And like I say, I really never did come up before any kind of commissioner vote that I know of or was aware of. And I sure would like to apologize on my behalf, as my position here, to you folks that were trying very diligently to try and save those records. Anyway, I'm sorry that happened. Hopefully things will be better in the future. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your efforts. That's the end of my report.
On the records. Maybe next time, if there is a next time, we can do better. And I also would like to make a comment about 5 minutes that people are allowed to speak on. I think it's a shame that they were not allowed to be given more time to speak tonight.
Come back to the next meeting. Sit here all night long.
That's the end of my report.
Some questions as to the activities that are going on here. One in particular stating that you're looking for an apology. And I assure you that as you are citizens, every person on this board is a citizen as well. And I assure you that each member of this board is interested in the welfare of this county, also in the history of this county. And I assure you that no one on this board has the pretense or anything else in hiding anything from anyone. I believe that there have been questions that have been presented, and I believe there have been questions that have been answered maybe not the way that everyone would like for those answers to come. But I assure you that everyone on this board has worked for the interests of this county. And we sit here and we take the views that you give, and that's fine. And if we don't all answer the way that you want us to answer, that's fine. Of course, as we've been reminded, and we're reminded at every meeting, that there's another election coming. And of course, you have the opportunity to indeed to deal with that at that time. I personally apologize to anyone who feels that you have been slighted or you have been in any way engendered to be unreal, or that we have done anything to offend you in any way as it relates to this situation that has come up. If you need a personal apology, I personally apologize to Ms. Goyette. I personally apologize to Ms. Askew. I believe, as Ms. Askew, I believe, mentioned that I was in attendance at the meeting that this indeed issue was brought forth to me as a commissioner. And I brought that back, of course, to this board. And I believe that our staff, who was given direction to indeed to look at the situation, I believe that they handled it appropriate, whether it came as a law, but certainly as a directive from indeed state agencies that we have the highest regard for, as we have the highest regard for citizens of Franklin County. And we would certainly want no one to enter into that basement or to any other building or any other situation that indeed where your health would be indeed at danger. And we believe that the right thing, I believe that the right thing has been done. I believe that we did it with the best interest of the citizens of Franklin County. I know indeed for myself that indeed that the decisions that were made following the directives of the state agencies that we have highest respect for was certainly done, we felt, in the best interest of the citizens of Franklin County. Thank you.
comment on the public records first. And in providing, I'm sorry, because sometimes the public doesn't get to see this big stack of papers that we have to look at, or we look at in making our decisions. I've heard many times, not only tonight, but over and over, people stand at that podium and tell us that the people of this county elected us to do the job. And I agree with that. But I agree that they have confidence, should have confidence in us to do our job, based on the information that we receive as it pertains to different subjects. When I'm looking at courthouse records, yeah, I think we sometimes tend to hear what we want to hear, and things that we don't want to hear, we turn a deaf ear to. As it relates to the courthouse records, I sit here and look at a list of inventory of over 40 boxes of council checks, 50 boxes of council check registers, ledgers, 21 boxes of council checks. And that's not the records that I think the people think that are out there, or that were there. You know, I've been advised by Ralph Knott's staff that anything that was recordable in that courthouse had been recorded by him, and that after 1969, 64, because they carried inventory of that, and I think you worked there, Miss Sidney.
Yeah.
You can vouch for that. You know, so you just go on, and then I look at a letter from the deputy secretary that was written to a media outlet. This was deputy secretary of the Office of Archives and History. That was Kevin Cherry, and basically excerpted his letter. Says appraisal of these records was done using established professional standards within the state in the archival field across the country. We consulted established and approved retention schedules and involved the local government offices for the input of any potential long-term value of the records. Many of the records in question have been eligible for destruction since the 1960s and have routinely been destroyed in other counties in the state according with this schedule. Many of them are duplicates, confidential drafts, or duplicated in another record series that has been saved. The local government agencies makes the final decision on whether records are not retained by state archives or retained locally or destroyed. And then from the same department, Becky McGee Langford, a copy of her letter to the county manager. We urge you to take immediate action to destroy these records. No other disposition is advised, including the donation of the records to a non-government entity for any reason. The health and safety issue concerning these records outweighs all other considerations. Ms. West does an excellent job detailing these health and safety concerns in her report. So it goes on, and that's what we see. And that's what decisions are made on, based on these experts or these people that we have to answer to or that we seek help from, and there are no political lines or anything else. It's based on giving us the best idea, and as Commissioner Dunston said, that will help and welfare of, I don't think you were given 5 minutes.
I know you didn't give that.
Way to go.
Okay.
This is Commissioner's comment, if you'd like
Oh,
to
okay.
speak, you can.
So, as far as calling for the removal of the manager, or calling for her head on the platter or whatever, I'm sorry, but she was doing her job. She does not have to sit here and ask us every time that records are destroyed or that she shreds a piece of paper, should she do it and get a full vote of this board? If we gonna micromanage like that, then we don't need to be in the position we're in. And we can't trust our employees or people that are appointed by us or elected by us. Also, as it relates to special call meeting, I think every time I come to a meeting, I learn something or get something else about the law or about the general statute. But we've been challenged many times that, I even heard somebody read, that they could serve me a paper for not performing my duty, as it states in the general statute, then turned around and said, well, you don't need to follow the general statute when it pertains to special meetings. Do what you want to do. But then, it says, what's that you're gonna flip the coin on when it's pertinent to you, or you hear what you want to hear and ignore the rest? But I'm sorry, we were elected to serve the citizens of this county according to the general statute of North Carolina, and that's what we'll do. I'm sorry if it hurts you. I'm sorry if it offends you. I'm sorry you didn't get your full time to speak. But this was a special call meeting was beyond our control, because God had something to do with it. He had to let it snow, let bad weather last time. We're getting ready for some more. But we were trying to get the meeting in, and according to the special use or special meeting laws, that's what we have to deal with. I'm sorry, it's not like we all want it, but it's what we have to do. And as far as my commissioner's report, I didn't have a lot.
About all things that took place with the structural records. It's unfortunate that those things had to take place, but it did, but we had to do those things in accordance with law. Also, we hope that citizens understand that no one is trying to hide anything from them, certainly I'm not, and that we hope to learn from this, work together, and be a part of Franklin County productive citizens. And finally, in regards to the meeting tonight, special call meeting means that certain things can take place, cannot take place. But again, our citizens don't understand these things sometimes, so I don't understand them. But it's important that maybe next meeting that we publish something in writing, short, that citizens can see, that no one is trying to stop them from speaking, certainly not. But we have certain rules that are followed. And sometimes it's not pleasant and it hurts. So to keep that confusion in other meetings, we have to be calm, because it's going to tomorrow night too. So maybe we can have a written statement about special call meetings, what the rules are and what they're better to follow, so everyone's in accordance understands. I'm about better communication, understanding, and trying for everybody to get along. Okay? Thank you.
I understand the concerns of the public, but I believe the health and safety of our employees and the citizens that use our courthouse come first. I believe we can always stand to improve communications, and I hope we can learn from this and move forward. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I had a meeting one-on-one with Senator Chad Barefoot. We discussed issues concerning Franklinton County.